Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cameron's Pets Don't Cooperate While She's Filming. What's up? So today I want to talk about something that's actually pretty timely to me, and that is some of the challenges that come along with being a freelancer. A lot of people look at the freelance lifestyle and just think it looks so great. I mean, you're your own boss, you make your own schedule, you can sleep in, you can wear your pajamas all day. What's not to like, right? But there are a lot of challenges that come along with having this as a job. Like with any job, no job is perfect. And today I want to talk about some of the big ones that you really need to think about before you decide to become a freelancer. Some of these issues I kind of knew about going into it before I quit my job to do freelance full time. Other ones I've learned along the way. So hopefully this just helps you get a better idea of what being a freelancer is actually like and informs your decision on whether it's actually a career path for you. One of the biggest challenges as a freelance writer, or really any type of freelancer, just has to be finding work. You know, there's generally plenty of work out there. There are thousands of people that do the same thing you do, but it's a matter of knowing where to look, knowing when to look, and kind of knowing how to make yourself stand out, because inevitably any type of freelance writing job is getting hundreds and hundreds of applications. The other day I was looking at jobs on LinkedIn, and any freelance gig that I saw had at least 400 applications. So you need to stand out in that crowd somehow, and that's really hard. I've always said that a lot of my bigger jobs, I really just got lucky and I was in the right place at the right time, and there were probably 700 other people more qualified than me. But it was just luck that I happened to be the most qualified person that applied that given day. And so, is it all luck? No, but there's a fair bit of luck involved when it comes to finding jobs. And you have to just be prepared that it's not easy. You're not just gonna walk into this career and have all these jobs waiting for you. You're not gonna get every job you apply to. Still to this day, now that I'm very established, I have a great reputation, I've built a large brand, but there's still jobs that I think I'm a shoo-in for that I don't get. And there's the dog again. Jobs that I don't necessarily get. I was just complaining the other day to my friends, I'm perfect for this job, and nothing. I haven't heard from them. And that's just what it is. There was just all it takes is one person more qualified than you. And that's not to say you can't find work. You will find work, but don't expect it to be a cakewalk. It's not easy. And you will get frustrated. At one point or another, you will get frustrated with it, but you gotta stick it out if you're really serious about being a freelancer. Another one of the big challenges that comes along with being a freelancer is fluctuating income. So in a full-time job, you have your salary, you get paid every week or every other week, whatever. You get paid the same amount and you know exactly how much money is coming, so you can budget a lot easier. Well, when you're a freelancer, there's none of that. You can have steady clients, but even my clients that are recurring and I work for them every month, there's no guarantee it's going to be the same amount of money. So one month they might have $2,000 worth of work for me. The next month it might be $500. And so it's really this ebb and flow. You'll hear freelancers talk about feast and famine. And it just means, some months you're going to have more money and more work than you know what to do with. Other months you're going to be scraping by. And I say this video is pretty timely because I'm in a famine month. I'm filming this in the beginning of September. My June and July were awesome. They were great. I crushed it. I'm so proud of the work I did that month. And then August, all of a sudden, poof, gone. All my work was gone. I made a third of what I made in July. And that's really stressful. All of a sudden, like, you go from feeling really secure and really good, and all of a sudden your work is just gone. It just dries up. And August is tough. It's been historically tough because everybody's going back to school, people take their vacations, a lot of like gear shifting goes on in the editorial world. I'm sorry, I can't with her. This is like the third time she's gone to the bedroom. She doesn't want to be in the bedroom. I don't know why she keeps going in there. So August is historically tough, but this year was especially bad, and it's hard not to feel stressed about it. I know it'll come back. I'll figure stuff out, but in the meantime, I kind of have to just make it work with what I have, keep going, push through that. But, the purse strings are tight this month. We didn't make a lot of money, and so we have to cut back on non-essentials. And a lot of people don't do well with that. I'm flexible enough, and I have enough of a safety net, which we'll talk about in a little while, but that I can manage income fluctuations. But if you're in a place where you can't, if you have kids, if you have a house payment and it's just you might want to rethink. I'm sorry, she's just a little crazy person. You might want to really seriously consider whether you could manage income fluctuations. Are you done? This is one that you don't really realize until you're in it, but being a freelancer is really lonely, like really lonely. So for a long time, I lived alone. Right now, my boyfriend lives here. I have my cat and my dog, so it's not as bad, but you live alone. No, you work alone, excuse me. You work by yourself. Generally, you're going to work from home. You don't have coworkers. And it's just day after day after day of that. It gets to you. It's just, you don't realize how nice an office environment is until you don't have one. There's no one to get lunch with. There's no one to chat with. There's no one to grab a coffee with. And it gets really lonely because it's really isolating. So personally, I'm very introverted. I'm a homebody. I like being alone. But even for me, sometimes I get to the point where I call a friend. I'm like, I have to come over. Like, I feel like I haven't spoken in days, and I need someone to talk to right now. And that's something that you really have to deal with. You have to learn to deal with. You have to figure out ways that you can get yourself out of the house, that you can maintain that social life that you get in a traditional work environment when you don't have an office. So that's a weird one, but if you Google it, it's a really common issue among freelancers, and different people have different ways of dealing with it. I have friends close by, my family's close by, so I visit them a lot. I'm also lucky that I have a close group of friends that we all are on GChat, and so throughout the day we GChat, and it's kind of like having coworkers, so that's really good for me. But big challenge, don't underestimate the loneliness factor. So I have to admit, I haven't struggled with this next challenge as much as other people do, but I do think it's still worth mentioning because it is such a prominent issue, and that is getting paid. Oh God, I've ranted about this before, and I'll probably rant about it again, but there are companies out there that just don't have integrity and don't pay you after you do work for them. And that is just the sad reality of entrepreneurship, any type of self-employment. Growing up, my father owned his own business and he's very successful, but I always had to listen to him talk about, this client, that client owes me money, they're 60 days late on their payment, and he kind of had to figure out, like, okay, do I keep working for them? I need the work, but if they're not going to pay me, it's not worth it. And unfortunately, a lot of freelancers struggle with this as well. There are just publications that are notorious for taking forever to pay freelancers, and you have to hound them and chase them down and send them invoice after invoice and contact accounting just to get paid. like I said, I haven't personally struggled with this all that much. I've been so lucky that all my core clients pay quickly, they pay on time, they pay without me having to ask twice. I send an invoice, it gets paid within 30 days. But at the same time, I'm in freelance groups where I hear people tell stories about, you know, clients that owe them like $3,000-$4,000 and are like 6 months late with payment. And that must just be so frustrating, because it's not even a matter of not finding work. You found the work, you did the work, you should have had the income, but now you don't because a company is being shady and doesn't want to pay you right now. It's so frustrating. It's just horrible. I don't have a better word. It's just horrible that some companies have that mentality, but it is something you're going to have to face. So buckle up and be prepared for it. That's the best advice I can give you if you're getting into the freelance world. When people come to me and they ask me, do you think I could make it as a freelancer? One of the first questions I always ask them is, in college or in high school, did you wait till the night before to write a paper that was due the next day? And if you say yes, I say probably freelancing is not for you. That's just the fact of the matter, because the urge to procrastinate is so real. You don't have a manager. You don't have anyone, you know, to keep you accountable. You guys, be nice. You guys, Addie, go play with the toy. Is this real? Guys, what are you doing? Guys, are you having a standoff? Leave him alone. Wrong way. Yeah, having kids is fun. So as a freelancer, you're definitely going to have to you have to hold yourself accountable, is the long and short of it. You don't have a manager, you don't have a supervisor, there's no one to hold you accountable. And so you have to hold yourself accountable every step of the way. And some people just can't do that. Some people don't have that mentality. And that's not a bad thing. It's just how you are. But if you have 4 deadlines next Tuesday and you wait till Monday night to start those projects, you're not going to get them done. And if you do get them done, they're not going to be done to the caliber that they need to be, and that's going to cost you repeat work. And it's a very hard thing, but it's a very necessary thing. And I think being honest with yourself about whether or not you can actually hold yourself accountable is really important, because trust me, I'm pretty motivated as people go, and there are days where I just can't. I just procrastinate like it's my job. I'll sit on, Pinterest or Instagram for 3 hours while I'm supposed to be writing something. And then I'm there at like 8 p.m. starting an article that's due the next day. I'm not perfect, but that's an exception. That's generally not how I am. I stay on top of things. I set deadlines for myself. I get stuff done. And you need to have that kind of self-accountability, I don't know if that's a word, in order to be a successful freelancer, I think. That's my opinion anyway. If you're a procrastinator and you make it work as a freelancer, let me know. I'd love to be proven wrong, because, that's part of the fun of life. So the final challenge is a big one, and that is just being financially responsible. I laugh because it's not even just a freelancer thing, it's a life thing. So many people are frivolous with their money. We buy things we don't need, and I'm 150% guilty of this. I only really developed good financial habits after I started working for myself, because you have to. You really do. But if you're one of those people that can't save money, can't say no to yourself, you're going to struggle as a freelancer, because there are a lot of financial aspects to the job that can be a real challenge. So I'm talking about stuff like taxes. And so as a freelancer, you have to pay your own taxes. No one's taking you. When you work a full-time job, that money's just sucked out of your paycheck. You never see it. Well, you're gonna see it as a freelancer. You get it all your money is pre-tax. And so it's up to you to put that money aside, not touch it, and pay your quarterly taxes. You have to do that. No one's going to hound you to do it unless you get like a really diligent accountant. So that's one tiny thing. There's, healthcare. You have to pay for your own healthcare. You have to budget for retirement. And again, I would so much rather just go to Target and buy a bunch of random shit than pay my healthcare bill and contribute to my retirement funds. But in the long run, it's much more important to do the latter than to buy some stuff at Target. And those are the kind of choices that you have to make all the time as a freelancer. And it can be so hard. And if you don't have the willpower to tell yourself no, you're going to have a tough time. I know people who, did freelance for 6 months, didn't save any money for taxes, and then their tax bill comes, they owe like $6,000, and where are they going to find that money? And you have to borrow it, and that doesn't feel good. No one wants to have to borrow money. So yeah, that's a big challenge. I think the other side of it, which has to do with something we talked about earlier, is you need a really solid emergency fund. I'm talking like not just the dinky little $1,000. Like, you need to be able to cover several months of income. So personally, I have $15,000 in an emergency fund that I don't touch ever except in emergencies. And so, this month where I had a really bad month, I might have to dip into that to kind of cover my expenses. Financial responsibility, it's something you don't necessarily need to have it to be a freelancer, but you need to be willing to learn it. You need to, I say you need to have it. You don't need to, but you're going to make your life harder than it needs to be. These habits, once you get into them, they will serve you well. I am very stable in my career, and I can ride out income fluctuations. I feel really confident about my future because I contribute to my retirement. I feel very safe because I have good health care, but you don't need any of those things. But down the line, you're going to wish you had them. So don't look at them as, my advice anyway, would be not to look at them as something that would be nice to have, or just look at them as absolute necessities, and your future self will thank you for it. So those are some of the large challenges you may encounter. I'll say you may encounter as a freelancer. Maybe you'll go your whole career without ever having, a really bad month income-wise. That's awesome, and I'm so, so happy for you. But a lot of these issues will come your way, and you have to figure out how to deal with them. I know the freelance lifestyle really seems glamorous, and for most part, it's really great. I love it. I could never go back to working in corporate. It's just not who I am. I love this lifestyle too much, but it's important to realize it's not all, rainbows and butterflies. We're not all just, on 6-month vacations out of the year. We do struggle. We do work hard. There are a lot of unique challenges to this type of career that you wouldn't necessarily encounter if you're a full-time employee somewhere. So just be prepared for it is the best advice I can give to aspiring freelancers. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you found it helpful, hit the like button. And if you have any questions that you'd like me to address in future videos, leave them down in the comments. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.